Hey, what's up, guys? It's the Sports Blitz here, and we're back with our NFL Week 10 power rankings. So Week 9 is through, and holy upsets. There were a lot of upsets in Week 9. This included the Jaguars beating the Bills, the Falcons beating the Saints. Let's see, the Giants beating the Raiders. That one, if I remember correctly, I think I actually called the Giants winning that one, so I wouldn't really call that an upset. But then the Broncos actually obliterating the Cowboys. There were also a couple other upsets, but yeah, it was a crazy week. It was a crazy week. So we'll go ahead and dive into it. But before we do that, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe, and also make sure to follow the Twitter. I'll leave a link to my Twitter in the description below. I always upload on there when some big NFL news breaks. Been covering the Odell news quite a bit. I tweet quite a bit during like primetime games, when bigger stuff happens, so make sure to follow that. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the power rankings. Starting with number 2, we have the Texans. No reason to really move them from here. It was a bad performance on Sunday. If you remember my game predictions from this last week, I said that I could very well see this being a closer defensive game. That's what it ended up being. They ended up losing 17-9, I believe it was. And yeah, Texans just continue to show that they're not a very good team. So 31, I have the Lions. Now, I did have them drop by 1. I know this was on a bye week, but the reason that they're dropping down 1 is because the Jaguars, who were previously 31, went up. So that's why the Lions went down. Jets, really bad performance against the Colts. Early on, it was looking like it was going to be a shootout, but Mike White ended up getting hurt, and the Colts kind of just took over right before halftime. And I'll be honest, okay? I will give Josh Johnson his credit. He played really well after Mike White went down. But I mean, when the Jets are giving up 45 points, it's pretty hard to lead your team back from that. It's weird to see a Robert Saleh coached team play this bad defensively. It was really weird. But yeah, Jets just aren't looking too great right now. 29, I have the Miami Dolphins. They didn't really move at all. I mean, this was a game they should have just dominated, with or without Tua. And I will say, yeah, even with Tua, this offense isn't that great. But you know what? This offense runs a lot better with Tua. I think it was very, very evident on Sunday. If they would have had Tua there, I bet they could have scored another touchdown or two and made it a little bit more convincing of a win. But I'd say at this point, where we're at week 10, teams just kind of are what they are at this point. They are what their record shows. There hasn't been a whole ton of movement in this week's power rankings because of that. So yeah, I didn't see anything that really showed, why the Dolphins should go up. But I mean, I also don't think they're worse than the Jets, Lions, or Texans. So 28, I have the Jaguars. Now, a lot of you are probably expecting me to move them up more than this. It was a good win, okay? They made Josh Allen look terrible. Something not a lot of teams can do. But just because they had one really, really good game doesn't mean I'm sold on Urban Meyer yet. I still think Urban Meyer is going to struggle. I don't think he's the guy. I think that roster is still far from complete. Again, I'll give credit where it's due. They played very, very, very well on Sunday, but I'm not sold on Urban Meyer. I have to see more. But for right now, they did go up to 28. 27, Washington football team, they are going up. This is because the Jets were going down. They kind of... So before it was the Jets were at 27, and because the Jets were going down, it automatically moved Washington up. So not much to say there. 26, I know the Bears lost. I'm not going to move them down at all. Honestly, I thought the Bears played really well. Justin Fields had a really good performance. He showed why the Bears were correct to trade up for him. I think it made a lot of sense. He looked really good out there. The main storyline of this game was terrible reffing. Terrible reffing all around, okay? And I'm not going to say that there were specific calls that made the Steelers win. There were terrible calls on both sides. If you ask me, that 50-yard throw from Justin Fields, beautiful throw from Fields, by the way, okay? I'm not discrediting Fields at all, but I didn't think that was a catch. The refs also, they hit the Bears for a bunch of stupid penalties, but they also got the Steelers for a few bad ones too. Yeah, they probably favored the Steelers a little bit more than the Bears, but it was just bad reffing all around, okay? Terribly reffed game. It wasn't enough for me to drop the Bears at all here. 25, I have the Carolina Panthers dropping by 4. This offense looks terrible. Sam Darnold is not the guy in Carolina. He's actually playing worse than he did in New York. I didn't know this was possible. He's playing worse than he did in New York. Joe Brady's play calling is abysmal. Matt Rule is a pushover. I'm just going to keep it a buck. Matt Rule is a pushover. He's not being tough with his quarterback and he's just not being a good coach. Like, he's letting all this bullshit happen, and I'm not going to dive too deep into it. I don't have confidence in Matt Rule going forward. Joe Brady has been really bad this season, and I didn't think he was real great last season either. I think it's honestly time to start PJ Walker, maybe look at some potential coaching changes. I really do. Panthers are looking really rough right now. 24, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not having them go up or down at all this week. They kept it really, really close with the Chargers, and I still think the Chargers are a really, really good team. I think the Chargers will be a playoff team and maybe even have a pretty deep playoff run this year. Excuse me. They kept it really close. Eagles have shown that they can do it. They need to continue running the ball more. Make Jalen Hurts' job easier. And I'll be honest, I like Jalen Hurts. I think he's really good. I think he can very well be the guy down there. And I'll be honest, okay, I'm going to say this right now. I am a Panthers fan. If, for whatever reason, the Eagles decided to move on from Jalen Hurts and draft a quarterback this next year, me as a Panthers fan, I'd love to get Jalen Hurts. I was high on him coming out of the draft. I still think he's playing well. I don't think he's the issue in Philadelphia, but this is a team that's shown they can do it. They need to continue running the ball well. 23, I have the 49ers going down by 4. They got smacked pretty hard by the Cardinals without Kyler Murray, without DeAndre Hopkins, without AJ Green. And Chase Edmonds went down really early on in that game as well. 49ers just aren't being a real competitive team this year. I don't know why. I know Jimmy G has really struggled, but really the defense I don't think has been looking very good at all either. it's kind of hard to put my finger on what the issue is. It's almost to a point where you've got to start questioning Kyle Shanahan. But Shanahan also, in my opinion, is one of the better coaches in the league, so we don't know if he's the issue or not. So, yeah, I'm really confused about the 49ers. 22, I have the Giants going up by 3 after beating the Raiders. Now, like I said, I predicted the Giants to win this. I was correct. They're also a confusing team. One week they'll look really, really good. One week they'll look absolutely terrible. I will say this. I don't think Joe Judge should be fired. Okay? I've been saying all season, I think Joe Judge is still a good coach. That team has had a ton of injuries. I swear they have at least one of their top 3 receivers injured every single week. Saquon keeps getting injured. They've had a lot of adversity against them. So, I don't think you should really pin too much of that on Joe Judge. I think they're a good team. 21, I have the Seahawks. They're going down 1. I know it was their bye week. They're only going down 1 because of a few teams winning this week, so they automatically rose up. Now, I'll be honest, Seahawks are probably going to start making their way back up this list because Russell Wilson's expected to be healthy this week. He's expected to start against Green Bay. They're expected to get Chris Carson back soon. Should really rejuvenate the offense, but we'll have to see what happens there. But for right now, they're at 21. At number 20, I have the Falcons. They're going up 3 after beating the Saints. They almost blew a really big lead against the Saints, but they ended up coming back, getting a game-winning field goal, and did end up winning the game. I was honestly impressed with their defense the first 3 quarters of this game. They contained Kamara well. They contained Mark Ingram well. I thought this was a good performance by the Falcons. I think they're honestly at a point now where... Now, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, okay? But they're kind of looking like a team that's really starting to build back and may be a playoff contender in a few weeks. So they're a team to keep an eye on. 19, I have the Denver Broncos going up by 3. They did dominate the Cowboys really bad. Really good performance by the Broncos. I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see them be more consistent. This team has a ton of potential. Teddy Bridgewater has played well enough to, get this team wins. This defense is good enough, honestly, that they can carry them through the season and into the playoffs. So if their defense keeps playing tough like that and Teddy just plays well enough to pull off the win, this team's going to be scary come playoff time. 18, I have the Chiefs not going up or down at all. They beat the Packers. It wasn't a good performance at all, though. Very, very bad performance by the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes had another game where he kind of looked pedestrian again. It's hard to say in this game if the Chiefs' defense finally played well or if it was that the Packers just didn't play well because of Jordan Love. I'll be honest, I thought Jordan Love had a pretty good performance, for what it's worth. But we can't deny, if Aaron Rodgers was out there, this Chiefs defense wouldn't have held them to 7 points. I think they kind of got lucky with Aaron Rodgers being out with COVID. So, yeah, I don't think that's enough to really bump the Chiefs up at this point. 17, I have the Vikings going down by 1 after an overtime loss to the Ravens. I still think this is a good team. I will say I'm one of those people that thinks Mike Zimmer is holding them back. Too conservative with play calling. After they get a lead, they just, go quiet and just run the ball too much. I think they need to keep being aggressive in those situations. And this is a thing that, honestly, as a Panthers fan, I see it a lot with Matt Rule and Joe Brady as well. In this league, no lead is safe. You've got to keep being explosive, and keep scoring more. You can't just, if you're up by 3 points at halftime, you can't just, run the ball out and chew the clock and expect to win. It's going to give the other team a chance. So, I think Mike Zimmer's holding these Vikings back. 16, I have the Colts. Dominant performance against the Jets, but they're only going up by 1 because it's the Jets. I mean, I'll be honest. Carson Wentz is playing well. Jonathan Taylor's looking like a top 3 running back right now. This team looks good. I don't want to discredit that at all. I think a lot of people are, kind of ignoring the Colts because their record doesn't show how good they really are right now. But, I mean, I think this team has all the potential in the world. 15, I have the Bengals going down by 2 after getting absolutely smacked by the Browns. I saw the stat that no team since, I want to say 1963, has ever had a pick six. Or no, maybe it was a special teams touchdown, defensive touchdown, and offensive touchdown, all over 60 yards since 1963. They had a passing touchdown over 60 yards, a 99-yard pick six, and I want to say it was a kick return touchdown. I don't remember how far it was, but I want to say it was like 75 yards or something like that. So, yeah, Bengals got really smacked there. But I do expect Joe Burrow and the Bengals defense to bounce back soon. 14, I have the Raiders going down by 5 after just a really bad offensive performance against the Giants. I mean, you've kind of got to expect it, though. I mean, they lost Henry Ruggs after that whole accident. I'm not going to dig too deep into that one. Don't want to get, too into that, but losing him, obviously John Gruden situation, it was kind of expected that this offense was going to struggle a little bit. So, Raiders are in a tough spot, but I think they'll figure out how to bounce back, especially with the signing of Deshaun Jackson. I think they'll be fine in the coming weeks. 13, I have the Saints going down by 5. Really bad performance early on against the Falcons. Their offense just couldn't really get much going. They finally started coming back in the fourth quarter. I blame that more on the Falcons just being the Falcons. I mean, their defense basically saw, oh, hey, we have a big lead. Let's blow it. So, I don't know. I'm still confused about the Saints because, they've beaten the Patriots. They've beaten the Bucks. They obliterated the Packers. But yet, they lost to the Panthers. They lost to the Falcons. They lost to the Giants. What is this team? I'm so confused about what this team is. Are they good or are they bad? I'm so confused. That's why I have them at 13 right now. 12, I have the Steelers going up by 2. I still thought they played really well last night. We kind of already covered that when we went over the Bears. Not going to dig too deep into it, but I thought the Steelers actually played well. I thought there were a couple special teams mistakes, including that Ray McLeod fumble, which led to a Bears touchdown real quick. So, yeah, special teams has got to be better. Number 11, I have the Patriots going up by 1. I still really think they're going to be a strong AFC playoff team, but they also played a really rough Panthers offense that just hasn't been able to get anything going. The Panthers offense has only scored 1 touchdown in the last 3 games. That's not a joke. Look it up. So you kind of expected that the Patriots were going to dominate defensively. I still strongly believe the Patriots are going to be a big playoff team this year. I really do. Number 10, I have the Browns going up by 5 after dominating the Bengals. I've been saying all offseason, I think the Browns could very well be the kings of the AFC this year. I don't know necessarily if they're going to win the AFC, like get the number 1 seed this year, but they are a much better team without Odell, and they showed that. This team's going to continue to be scary down the road, and I think they're going to be back in my top 5 before too long. I really do. Number 9, I have the Chargers going up by 2. I still believe this is going to be a really good AFC team as well. There's a lot of good teams in the AFC this year. Yeah, I've had confidence in the Chargers all off season. I had them with like an 11-6 record. They're 5-3 right now, I believe. I very well think 11-6 is possible. Yeah, not much to say there. Number 8, I have the Ravens. Lamar Jackson does it again. He leads his team back after being down. I want to say he was down by 14 at one point. Led them back in an overtime win against the Vikings. I don't have anything further to doubt about Lamar Jackson. He's elite. He is an elite quarterback. He knows how to lead his team back from bad situations. Number 7, I have the Cowboys. They got dominated by the Broncos. Not much to say. I think they'll bounce back soon. They're too good of a team to start, going on a losing streak. I think they'll bounce back this next week. Number 6, we have the Rams also going down by 2. They got smeared by the Titans. Bad performance by Matt Stafford. This is another team. They're too good to start going on a losing streak. They'll be back soon. Again, not much to say about it. Number 5, I know it was the Bucs bye week, but the last 2 teams had really bad performances. That's why the Bucs passed them. Moving on to number 4, Bills. Let's be honest here. Yeah, really bad performance on Sunday, but they're still a top 5 or even top 3 team in the NFL. They're still a really good team. One bad performance does not really say who a team is. I think the Bills are still a damn good team. Number 3, Titans. Titans are going to run the football whether they have Derrick Henry or not. And that defense, this Titans defense is playing damn tough. They picked off Matt Stafford twice on Sunday, one for a pick 6. Another one was only a few yards away from being a pick 6. This defense is looking legit. If they can keep that up, this is a championship level defense. So, Titans playing out of their minds right now. Number 2, I have the Packers only going down by 1. Like I mentioned, if Aaron Rodgers would have been playing, Packers would have won this and remained at number 1. But unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers didn't play. They did get the loss. That's all I have to say about it. Number 1, we have the Cardinals. They didn't have Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, and Chase Edmonds went out early as well. And they still dominated the 49ers. I think it's fair to say that the Cardinals are the best team in football right now. Their defense is really good. Their offensive line is playing well. I have nothing negative about the Cardinals right now. But that's it. That's my power rankings for Week 10. Again, guys, be sure to follow the Twitter. I always post on there whenever big NFL news comes out. Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe. I'm really trying to hit 750 subscribers by the end of this week, so please help me out with that. But without further ado, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later.